No remoto brasileiro világio de Hoer Verde, 600 soas vaneceram em overnight, deixando vitrais apenas um chilling word escrawlado numa dusty blackboard. No bodies, no signs de struggle, no indication of where they went or why. Just silence, um profundo e absoluto silêncio que sualou uma inteira comunidade Hoer. A data foi agosto 26 de 1923. Por décadas, a humanidade basicamente notou. Era um escorteante aternuno quando Manuel Gomes, um delivery driver da Nestering Town de Cruzeiro do Sul, urgeu seu cansado carro de burro até o Dusty Track levando a Hoer Verde. Ele estava trazendo os suprimentos da semana, farinha, açúcar, alguns boltos de tela. A jornada era longa e tediosa, mas os pequenos e isolados comunidade eram sempre gratos, deu seus sorrisos um welcome reward. Ao chegar ao edge do village, Manuel esperava o usual sounds, children playing, women chatting as they washed clothes by the river, the rhythmic thud of a blacksmith's hammer. Mas hoje, there was nothing. Uma natural stillness zangou no hot, humid air. Manuel franziu, puxando as rens. Perpose siesta? Mas era tão cedo para todo mundo estar indoors. Ele camou alto, seu voz orça com dusto. Hello, HoerVerde, supplies are here. Only the buzz of insects answered him. Um shiver, não da quente, snaked down seu spine. Ele desmontou, taindo seu burro a um familiar poste e foi entrando na vilagem. Chickens pecavam idolamente na terra, alguns dogs leiam punching no shade, mas não a single human stirred. Doors estão a jar, algumas roupas flutuavam numa linha, uma half-eaten meal sat numa tábua em frente de uma casa, flies já garimbam. Era como se todos haviam simplesmente levantado e voltado, mid-sentence, mid-task. A ar era pesada com unspoken questions. Where was everyone? Um deep, primal fear começou a gripar Manuel. Ele foi de casa a casa, contando nomes que conhecia, puxando aberto portas, seu voz crescendo mais frântico com cada empty room. Every home was deserted, yet everything was left behind, as if its inhabitants expected to return at any moment. Manuel eventualmente estambou sobre a pequena sala de um quarto. Sua porta, logo como as outras, estava a jar. Dentro, o sol extremava por uma dusty janela, iluminando motes dançando no ar. Na rica wooden blackboard, usualmente coberta em problems de aritmética ou português gramática, um simples nome estava carbonizado. Não era um simplório de criança, era um simples estar comando. Retornem. Manuel estareou a isso, o sangue drenando do seu rosto. Retornem? Para onde? De onde? A palavra oferecia não conforto, apenas derrubava o chilling enigma. This não era um simples mass exodus. This was something far, far worse. Trêmulo, Manuel fledeu vilagem, escrambando para o seu burro, seu coração batendo um frenético ritmo entre seus costas. Ele não parou até receber Cruzeiro do Sul, bustando na local police station, gaspando seu improvável tale. A inicial reação foi descrença, claro, massa histeria, uma prank? Mas Manuel, um respeitado figura, estava claramente aterrorizado. Dentro de horas, um pequeno contingente de oficiais, excéticos mas obrigados, saiu para Hoer Verde. O que encontraram lá, eco-lhe em Manuels descrição, desafiou toda a racional explicação. As empty houses, os untouched possessions, o chilling silêncio e o solitário, assombroso nome no blackboard. 600 pessoas, gone, just like that. A nós, slow to travel in those days, eventualmente retiu ao wider world, esparcando um breve e intenso período de baffled speculation. Teorias variavam de uma mass migração a um culto religioso coletivo suicida, do não há corpos nem indícios de força movimentada. Alguns falavam de uma praga, mas no evidence. As logísticas apenas eram mind-blowing. Como 600 pessoas, incluindo crianças e idosas, simplesmente desaparecem de um remoto világio sem um único traço?
No footprints leading away, no discarded items along the paths, no eyewitness accounts from surrounding areas. It was as if the ground had opened up and swallowed them whole, then sealed itself shut without a ripple. HoerVerde itself was a picture of perfect yet horrifying preservation. Coffee pots still sat on cold stoves. Beds were unmade. Laundry hung drying in the sun, slowly weathering away. In the tiny general store, shelves were stocked, and a ledger lay open, half-written. It wasn't a panicked flight. It was an abrupt, instantaneous cessation of life, a collective pause button pressed on existence. The investigators, initially confident, quickly became frustrated. Every conventional explanation hit a brick wall. There were no signs of violence, no robbery, no struggle. No personal effects were missing, nothing of value taken. This wasn't crime as they knew it. The remoteness of Hoer Verde, nestled deep within the vast, verdant heart of Brazil, only deepened the mystery. It was a place where information traveled slowly and outsiders rarely ventured. The community was largely self-sufficient, a tight-knit web of families and friendships bound by generations of shared history. This isolation, while making their disappearance easier to accomplish undetected, also made it more perplexing. They had no major industries to leave, no known enemies, no political feuds that might provoke such an extreme, synchronized exit. Who were these people? Just ordinary folk living simple lives, farmers, artisans, families. And yet, they became extraordinary through their absence. The search that followed was unprecedented for the region. Military units were eventually called in, combing the dense surrounding jungle for weeks, then months. They scoured the riverbanks, scaled hills, and followed every animal trail. Nothing. No makeshift camps, no discarded tools, no shallow graves. The sheer vastness of the Amazon basin swallowed their efforts, making the disappearance feel even more absolute. The searchers, many of them experienced trackers, reported an unnerving sense of futility, as if they were looking for something that simply ceased to exist rather than moved. The jungle itself seemed to mock their efforts, revealing nothing but its own indifferent beauty. Years turned into decades, and Hoer Verde became a ghost village, a macabre tourist attraction for a brief period, then largely forgotten by the outside world, remembered only in hushed tones by local communities. The mystery festered, an open wound in the collective memory of the region. Yet, as the recent revisiting of this case suggests, specifically in the Unraveling the Mystery of the Town That Disappeared or Did It investigation, the story of Hoer Verde might not be as straightforward as a simple mass vanishing. What if disappeared doesn't mean what we think? What if the truth is more complex, more unsettling than mere absence? The single word, return, became the pivot around which all theories spun. Was it a command, a plea, a destination? Some spiritual leaders interpreted it as a directive to return to a more primitive, uncorrupted way of life, a collective shedding of modern influence. But how could 600 people, including infants, willingly embrace such a radical, almost impossible transformation without a trace? Others speculated it was a code, a signal for something only the inhabitants understood, perhaps a prearranged departure for a secret society or a hidden religious sect preparing for a significant event. But again, no evidence of any such organization ever surfaced. There were whispers, of course, of something far stranger, of lights in the sky, strange sounds heard by distant villagers before the disappearance, of a sudden collective madness, a shared delusion that compelled them all to walk into the jungle, never to be seen again.
This delves into the realm of what some call a ghost in the machine, a glitch in the matrix of reality, a moment where the rational breaks down. Could a shared psychological event, a mass hallucination, lead an entire town to self-destruct or self-transport? The human mind, after all, is a fragile thing, capable of extraordinary feats, both beautiful and terrifying. If this deep dive into the unexplained captivates you, take a moment to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss our next uncovering of history's most bizarre secrets. The lack of a single, coherent narrative allowed the legend to morph and grow. Some locals, even today, avoid the area, claiming the village is cursed, haunted by the lingering presence of those who never truly left, or perhaps never truly arrived anywhere else. They speak of strange echoes in the empty houses, of disembodied whispers carried on the wind. The silence of Hoer Verde, once just an absence of sound, became a sound in itself. A low, humming reminder of human fragility and the inexplicable forces that might lie just beyond our comprehension. What's your theory on Hoer Verde? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. Could it be something extraterrestrial, a mass delusion, or a darker, more earthly secret that has simply never been uncovered? We continue to grapple with the "or did it" aspect of Hoer Verde's mystery. Modern revisitations of the case, fueled by the relentless human need for answers, often look for new angles. Could advanced satellite imagery reveal hidden paths or forgotten structures in the dense jungle? Could new psychological profiling techniques offer insights into the collective mindset of such an isolated community? The ghost in my machine aspect from recent analyses implies a persistent, almost digital-age haunting, a nagging error in the historical record that refuses to be corrected. Perhaps it's not about finding them, but about understanding the nature of their departure. Perhaps it's not about finding them, but about understanding the nature of their departure. This is where Hoer Verde truly transcends a simple missing persons case and delves into the terrifying realm of collective human enigma. For 600 souls to simply cease existing in a defined space, leaving behind not a body, nor a struggle, nor even a scrawled goodbye, save for that single chilling word, suggests something far more profound than a simple tragedy. It forces us to confront the limits of our understanding, not just of the physical world, but of the human spirit itself, and its capacity for inexplicable acts, both individual and communal. Consider the village in the days, weeks, months leading up to the disappearance. Hoer Verde wasn't a metropolis. It was a tight-knit, isolated community nestled deep within the unforgiving embrace of the South American jungle. Life there would have been harsh, dictated by the rhythm of nature and the shared struggles of subsistence. Such environments often foster deep bonds, a collective consciousness born of necessity. But they can also breed a unique form of isolation, a psychological insularity that might make them susceptible to forces or ideas that outsiders could never grasp. Was there a charismatic figure among them, a prophet or a demagogue whose influence grew unchecked? Did a shared belief, a terrifying rumor, or a desperate hope metastasize within this confined ecosystem, pushing them towards a collective decision that defied all logic? The absence of struggle is perhaps the most unsettling detail. No signs of forced entry, no overturned furniture, no hasty meals left uneaten. Just an uncanny, pristine stillness. Imagine the last moments, children playing, men working, women tending to daily chores. Did the jungle itself swallow them, an insidious green tide that pulled them into its depths without a sound? Or did they walk, calmly, deliberately, hand in hand towards an unknown fate?
The mind rebels against such an image, seeking a rational explanation, a single event that could trigger such a mass exodus. A flood? A landslide? But Hoer Verde shows no scars of natural calamity beyond the gentle, reclaiming touch of time. This forces us to ponder the psychological dimension. Could an entire community succumb to a shared delusion, a mass hysteria of such magnitude that it compelled them all towards a common, devastating endpoint? History offers glimpses of such phenomena, dancing manias, collective spiritual awakenings, but rarely on this scale, and almost never resulting in such a complete, traceless vanishing. Was there an external psychological trigger, an omen, a prophecy, a collective dream, interpreted by an already stressed populace in a way that led them to abandon everything they knew? The sheer, almost theatrical scale of Hoer Verde's vanishing act almost demands a response from us. If you've ever found yourself lost in thought over history's great unsolved puzzles, consider hitting that subscribe button. It ensures you won't miss our continued delve into the archive's deepest secrets. Then there is the Blackboard, scrawled.
One word, a single indelible mark on the canvas of an impossible mystery. What did it mean? The word, German for guilt or debt, is a sharp, almost cruel twist in a narrative already steeped in the bizarre. Why German? Was there a German settler among them, perhaps an old man whose final desperate message was etched in his mother tongue? Or did it point to a deeper, colonial past of the region, a historical debt, incurred, now somehow collected? The interpretations of scrawled are as varied and unsettling as the disappearance itself. If guilt, whose guilt? The entire village for some transgression unknown to the outside world? A specific individual whose actions brought about this collective fate? Or was it a self-inflicted guilt, a community burdened by a secret shame that drove them to seek a radical form of atonement? The idea of a collective punishment, self-imposed or otherwise, is a chilling proposition. It speaks to a dark side of human nature, where perceived wrongdoing can lead to unimaginable consequences. If debt, what kind of debt? Financial, spiritual, or karmic? Did they owe someone, something, so profoundly that the only payment was their very existence? One theory posits a sinister interpretation, that the word was left by the perpetrators of the disappearance, a chilling calling card indicating that the villagers had somehow paid their debt. But to whom? And how could such a payment be exacted without leaving a single trace of conflict? It feels too neat, too cinematic, and yet no less plausible than any other explanation. The very choice of leaving a single word on a blackboard suggests a deliberate act, a final communication intended to be found. It wasn't a desperate plea, nor a detailed confession, but a stark, almost accusatory statement. It implies that the person who wrote it believed the message was understood, or at least relevant to whatever fate had befallen the village. It's an intellectual slap in the face to anyone who seeks easy answers, forcing us to grapple with a level of intentionality that deepens the horror. Imagine the last person to write on that blackboard. Were they alone? Were they calm? Were they terrified? Did they know what was coming, or what had already happened? The image of that lone, faded word, standing sentinel in the echoing silence of an abandoned schoolhouse, is a powerful and enduring symbol of the unknown. It transforms the mystery from a mere list of missing persons into a philosophical puzzle about accountability, consequence, and the hidden burdens that societies carry. What do you think scrawled truly meant on that dusty blackboard? A confession? A warning, or something far more esoteric? Share your own theories in the comments below.
Every perspective adds another layer to this perplexing enigma. Modern investigative techniques, however advanced, often hit a wall when confronted with the sheer lack of physical evidence. Satellite imagery might reveal the jungle canopy, but it can't peer into the human heart. Psychological profiling can suggest collective behaviors, but it can't explain a simultaneous, traceless disappearance. The truth of Hoer Verde might reside not in the dirt or the trees, but in the intangible fabric of human belief and communal experience. Could a shared spiritual journey have led them away, convinced that a new paradise awaited them beyond the visible world? Religious cults throughout history have convinced followers to abandon their lives, but usually some trace remains: a final pilgrimage route, a mass grave, or dissenting voices. Hoer Verde offers none of that. Perhaps the ghost in my machine aspect is not merely a metaphor for a historical anomaly, but a literal whisper from the edge of our perception. What if Hoer Verde is a case where the boundaries of reality themselves became fluid? That sounds fantastical, of course, the stuff of science fiction or ancient myth. But when every rational explanation fails, the human mind, in its desperate need for understanding, reaches for the improbable. Could there be localized temporal distortions, a micro pocket of space-time that somehow absorbed the entire village? Or an undiscovered natural phenomenon, a rare atmospheric condition, a unique sonic frequency that disoriented or even dematerialized them?
The idea of a natural portal seems absurd until you consider the sheer unlikelihood of any other explanation. The jungle itself, an ancient, brooding entity, often holds secrets that defy easy categorization. Its vastness and impenetrable density could easily conceal an entire village, or at least its traces, for centuries. But the thoroughness of the initial search parties, however rudimentary by modern standards, suggests that a surface disappearance was unlikely. The missing data isn't just about what was found, but about what should have been found. The absence of bodies, the absence of struggle, the absence of any signs of illness or violence. This isn't just a lack of evidence, it's an overwhelming evidence of absence. This profound blank slate forces us to reconsider our assumptions about human behavior in the natural world. HoerVerde challenges the very notion of what is possible. It's a chilling reminder that there are still corners of our world, and indeed our collective human experience, that resist all attempts at rationalization. The village remains a silent testament to the terrifying potential of the unknown, an enduring question mark etched onto the map of human history. We look at the empty houses, the rusted tools, the crumbling blackboard, and we are not merely looking at a deserted village. We are staring into a void, a perfect vacuum where 600 lives once thrived, now utterly, inexplicably gone. The true nature of their departure, it seems, may forever remain cloaked in the impenetrable mist of the Amazonian jungle, a secret kept not by men, but by the very fabric of existence itself. And perhaps that is the most unsettling answer of all. The universe, in its infinite complexity, sometimes simply refuses to explain itself. O universo, em sua infinita complexidade, às vezes simplesmente se recusa a se explicar. Essa recusa, esse silêncio abissal, não é apenas uma lacuna de informação, é uma afronta à nossa própria pretensão de controle, a ilusão de que podemos mapear cada sombra, decifrar cada enigma. HoerVerde não é apenas um lugar onde pessoas desapareceram, é uma cicatriz na psique coletiva, uma lembrança gélida do que se esconde para além dos nossos mapas e da nossa ciência. Pense nos sussurros que devem ter se espalhado, nas buscas desesperadas que encontraram apenas o vazio, a zombaria da ausência.
Que tipo de terror se instala em uma região quando uma comunidade inteira se dissolve no ar? Nasce uma mitologia de pavor, uma sombra que se estende muito além da borda da selva, contaminando a mente daqueles que ouvem a história. Cada pessoa que some deixa um buraco, uma família em agonia, uma comunidade em luto. Mas 600? Isso é outro tipo de ausência, um grito coletivo que ecoa através do tempo. É uma anomalia tão profunda que nos força a questionar os alicerces da própria realidade. Será que foi uma dimensão oculta, uma rasgadura momentânea no tecido do espaço-tempo? Ou algo muito mais antigo e aterrador, à espreita sob a superfície do familiar? O que você realmente pensa que aconteceu em HoerVerde? Compartilhe sua teoria mais intrigante nos comentários. Nenhuma ideia é estranha demais quando se trata de algo tão inexplicável. Este tipo de enigma, onde a única resposta parece ser a própria ausência, nos lembra de quão pouco realmente sabemos sobre o mundo e de quão vulneráveis somos perante o que reside nas suas profundezas mais obscuras. Se você é fascinado por enigmas que desafiam a razão e a própria lógica, como este, considere seguir o nosso arquivo. Há muitos mais segredos à espera de serem desenterrados. A história de HoerVerde é um espelho, refletindo não apenas o mistério de sua partida, mas também nossa insistência humana em encontrar ordem onde talvez não haja nenhuma. É um convite para aceitar que algumas portas devem permanecer fechadas, ou, quem sabe, para tentar desesperadamente desvendar seus segredos, mesmo que isso signifique olhar para o abismo. The village of HoerVerde, now a decaying relic reclaimed by the encroaching jungle, stands as a haunting symbol. It's not just a story of missing people, it's a testament to the limits of our understanding, a crack in the facade of a world we believe to be entirely rational.
It speaks to the unsettling possibility that entire communities can simply cease to be, that the fabric of reality is thinner than we imagine, and that some questions are destined to remain unanswered, echoing through time like the empty rooms of Hoer Verde itself. The legacy of Hoer Verde isn't just about 600 people, it's about the profound unease that settles when the known world offers no explanation. It forces us to confront the idea that there are forces, whether natural, supernatural, or deeply psychological, that can act on a scale that defies our comprehension. That single word on the blackboard, return, continues to resonate not as an instruction, but as a perpetual riddle. Was it a message left for us, for those who came after, a final cryptic warning? Or was it an internal directive, a promise, or a desperate hope meant only para quem o escreveu, those who embarcaram em uma viagem da qual nunca voltaram? A vila de Hoer Verde remane, um monumento silencioso a um evento que desafia a lógica, um rasgo no tecido da realidade. Ela nos lembra que mesmo em nosso claro mundo tão conectado, há cantos onde o véu entre o conhecido e o não conhecido se afina e inteiras comunidades podem simplesmente evaporar. O mais chilon de Ghost não é uma figura espectral, mas um espaço vazio onde vida um dia floresceu e uma pergunta que verdadeiramente ficará no ar. Por quê?